During the late 1980s, the South Side was held down by many OGs who laid their law, and one of the most memorable of them all was a top boy native by the name of Bucky.
My sick ways was handed down from Bucky. You still allowed to hear this song, then you lucky.
Bucky was an OG that had a citywide reputation for making dope boy bags, slinging iron, and handling grown man business. He represented the top of the South Side, was a major influence to those around him, and as the bridge to the next generation of Baton Rouge OGs, Bucky was the older brother to TBG Records founder, Lil Ivy. Bucky was shot and killed by another Baton Rouge native who represented the bottom of the South Side and went by the name of Hammer.
All down in the dirty, Jeff, Hammer, and Worry. All who want to serve me but was scared cause I had curvy.
Hammer was one of the last remaining members of a notorious and lawless street gang called the Southside Wrecking Crew and had a citywide reputation as the one not to be puffy with. Hammer and Bucky are just one example of how long the top and the bottom of Southside Baton Rouge have been at odds, but it definitely wasn't the last. Lil Ivy was a direct reflection of his older brother, and along with Boosie, Nussy, Finn, Lil Pig, and a few others, the next generation of Baton Rouge street legends were born.
I got Bucky in me, I got Ivy in me, I got murder in me, I got robbery.
After the departure of OG Bucky, his little brother Ivy took on the top of the South Side as his own, continuing his family legacy of big money balling and controlling street matters. Lil Ivy was a street celebrity, but he wasn't the only hustler in the South making a ridiculous bag off the grind. And although Ivy was out the top, he took a liking into a bottom boy native who was known citywide as Finn. Ivy took Finn under his wing at a really young age and was the big dog out of the two, a relationship that started out as business but ended up in a father and son like relationship. Another Southside native by the name of Lil Pig was also a street hustler and known head buster that was just as popular in the city as Lil Ivy was. Ivy and Lil Pig didn't have any prior beef, but for whatever reason it was sometimes noticeable tension whenever they were in the same surroundings, and although Ivy was a bit more advanced, Lil Pig was a force of his own and not to be puffy with. Lil Ivy, Finn, and Lil Pig had their separate crews, but they oftentimes shared the same circle and at one time even shared the same connect. And although they were all getting money out the streets, Lil Ivy easily set himself apart by pulling off a major caper that resulted in a shootout between himself and the victim. The robbery was a success, but Ivy ended up taking some lead, in which he wore a colostomy bag for months and did 4 years behind bars for it. 2 weeks before Lil Ivy's departure, he and the gang of TBG members had a run-in with Lil Pig and his crew at Vibes nightclub, in which the tension rose high to the point words were exchanged. Then a scuffle broke out between them. Outnumbered and overwhelmed, Lil Pig and his crew took a loss that night. But understanding the type of goon Lil Pig was, Lil Ivy had just put himself in a dangerous situation.
Third annual East Egg Hunt for my boy Lil Ivy.
He's good in July. We don't have nothing.
Giving about 2,000 bikes away free.
While Boosie went on to sponsor and host the annual Lil Ivy Bash, Ivy's real best friend and true loyalty came from his little partner, Finn. Whatever Finn knew about the loss of Lil Ivy, he decided to target and take it out on a different source altogether. Finn and Lil Pig were both out the bottom, but Finn's loyalty was with Lil Ivy. The scuffle between Ivy and Lil Pig 2 weeks prior to Ivy's birthday was all the motivation Finn needed to suspect that Pig was the shooter, so he wasted no time in seeing Pig off in the worst way. Here's a side note that I decided to add to this video. The fact that Lil Pig and Finn were actual blood cousins who grew up around each other, but Finn's love for Lil Ivy was so real that he rolled on his own family in the name of retaliation. Like
Rambo in the hood, I'm a certified stepper. Rest in peace, little Nick. Bottom boy lick.
Those lyrics are a prime example of the apple didn't fall far from the tree, and is an extension of the old generation passing down the street torch to the next generation of hustlers and big dogs. The newest era of Baton Rouge's South Side have played out in a similar fashion as the first 2 generations and is headed by 3 of BR's most notable brands, TBG, BBG, and NBA.
If it's sunny outside, we walk down to Tilly Timber.
Say so. Live? What you? Hey, yo.